Thank you for joining our webinar, Developing Effective Domain Management Strategies. My name is Brian Costello, Marketing Manager for MarkMonitor, and I'm excited to be joined by my colleagues, Alison Simpson, Portfolio Marketing Director at MarkMonitor, and Laurel Fleming, Client Partnership Manager at MarkMonitor. With more than 14 years experience in the domain industry, Alison has managed all aspects of corporate domain management, including domain strategy development and implementation. Alison started her career in the domain industry with MarkMonitor as a client services manager responsible for managing large, complex domain portfolios for global brands. Alison is currently responsible for the overall go-to-market message for MarkMonitor's domain business and continues to work face-to-face with many MarkMonitor clients, providing industry insight and domain protection strategies. Laurel Fleming is a client partnership manager and has worked in domain client services at MarkMonitor for 15 years. As a client services manager, Laurel has worked with several of MarkMonitor's biggest domain clients and has a vast knowledge of managing large, complex domain portfolios. In her current client partnership role, Laurel continues to manage clients and also uses her domain experience to provide expanded guidance and strategic support for MarkMonitor domain clients. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Alison and Laurel to our presentation.
Thank you, Brian. And thank you all for joining us today. And thank you, Laurel, for joining us and presenting with me today. As Brian mentioned, Laurel is a client partnership manager and works closely with our client services team to provide that more strategic guidance and working on some of those strategic projects with our domain customers. And I'm excited to have Laurel join us, not only to share your perspectives, but also some best practices that I know will be extremely beneficial to the audience today. So thank you again, Laurel.
Thank you. I'm excited to join you.
All right, so we have a lot we'd like to cover today, and we'll start by giving a brief update on what's happening right now in the domain industry. Then we'll review some of MarkMonitor's integrated features and functionality that allow our users to gain valuable insights into their domain portfolios. And then we'll leave you with some tips for developing effective domain strategies. So let's take a look at what's happening in the domain landscape right now. As internet usage has grown, so too have domain names. Total registrations have grown to close to 340 million registrations worldwide. There are approximately 1,800 TLDs, or top-level domains, available, and over 2,900 unique extensions available. We're going to talk a little more about registry lock a bit later in our webinar, but we did do an audit looking at the top 100 traffic sites, and only 54% have implemented registry lock. And as a reminder, registry lock is that additional locking mechanism at the registry level. Special protocols have to be followed between our clients and between MarkMonitor and the registries before a domain can be unlocked to be edited. So, really important feature there. As internet usage has grown, so too has the use of social media and mobile devices. There are now more than 3.7 billion mobile device users and 2.34 billion social media users. In 2018, 52.2% of all website traffic worldwide was generated through mobile phones, and that was up from 50.3% in the previous year. Mobile currently accounts for half of all global web pages served, and social media sites have become crucially important channels for organizations of all kinds, so it's essential to include social media in your domain management strategies. 2017 was a record year for WIPO disputes, and it looks like we're going to be close, if not surpass that in 2018. So far in 2018, WIPO is reporting 2,966 filed disputes, averaging about 290 domain filings per month. And if that average is maintained, like I said, we'll have another record year, which should actually be 3 record years in a row. New GTLDs account for 16% of the number of domain names filed, and among these, .online, .life, .app, .xyz, and .top are the most common new GTLDs in dispute. Email impersonation attacks continue to grow, with more than 50% of them impersonating brand names in the display name, so in that from line. In our recent barometer report, 60% of brands say that infringement has increased in the last year, and 72% say brand protection has gained more attention across their business. Cybercrime has a significant impact on corporate infrastructure, financial assets, and even your reputation to your customers. So it's important to review strategies often to ensure that they're still impactful. So I talked a little bit about this already, that there are close to 340 million domains registered globally. Domain name registrations have grown by approximately 7.9 million, or 2.4% year over year. CCTLDs have increased by 5.5 million domain registrations, or 3.8% year over year, for a total of 149.7 million registrations. As of June 30th, 2018, there were 302 global CCTLD extensions delegated in the root zone, including internationalized domain names, with the top 10 CCTLDs composing 65.7% of all CCTLD domain registrations. Legacy GTLDs reached a total of 168.3 million total registrations, and new GTLDs actually decreased by approximately 2.5 million domain name registrations, or 10.4% year over year, totaling 21.8 million at the end of the second quarter of 2018. As of June 2018, the largest TLDs by number of reported domains were .com, .cn, .tk, .de, .net, .uk, .org, .ru, .nl, and .info. So those are the same 10 TLDs that tend to be in the top largest. So as you can see, there are plenty of TLDs for brand owners to choose from, and unfortunately, bad actors to choose from as well. So let's talk about some of the big industry changes we saw this year, and we'll start with the state of WHOIS. So the European General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, otherwise known as, that has been enforced since July 2018, ushered in new rules regarding protection of personal information. This has resulted in many domain name registries and registrars redacting registrant information from their public WHOIS records, including information related to legal entities and persons not located in the European Economic Area, so redactions that are beyond the scope of the privacy regulation. Eliminating registrant information from the WHOIS database makes it more difficult to obtain information about suspected online fraudsters. Now these requests must be made to the registries directly, and the success rate in obtaining a response has proven very low, just 22% according to data collected by MarkMonitor. While efforts are underway to develop policies that allow access to registrant information for legitimate purposes, including law enforcement, there's no timetable for this. Until such policies are introduced, brand owners may find it more challenging to combat unauthorized uses of their brand online. The implications of the UK's withdrawal from the European Union are still to be seen. The European Commission announced earlier this year that subject to any transitional agreement that may be contained in a possible withdrawal agreement, the EU regulatory framework for the EU TLD will no longer apply to United Kingdom as from the withdrawal date, which is March 30th, 2019. So what does this mean to brand owners? If a transitional agreement is not reached and you have an EU domain with a UK registrant, you will have to update domain ownership to another entity in the EU, or you can risk losing your domain. Now, it's important to understand that negotiations are ongoing with the United Kingdom, and in fact, just this morning, the BBC announced that the UK and the EU agreed to the draft text of a Brexit agreement. And MarkMonitor has been working closely with the EU registry and other European registries to understand what impact there will be to brand owners, and we of course advocate for as little impact to brand owners as possible. But just you'll be aware if any eligibility requirements do change. MarkMonitor is monitoring this closely, and we will of course reach out to any impacted clients. We are also seeing brand owners be impacted when TLDs change ownership. Not only can pricing and requirements change, but the purpose or focus of the TLD can also change, and that can change your strategy with a certain TLD. And it can also possibly attract some bad actors looking to capitalize on those changes. So bottom line is, that we know there's a lot going on. We are closely monitoring all the changes in the space, and we will continue to advocate on your behalf and communicate any changes that may affect you. All right, let's move on to some brand owner threats. So brand abuse costs brands billions in losses and damages every year. Brand abuse includes domain squatting, domain hijacking, counterfeit goods sold from lookalike domains, and branded phishing campaigns, just to name a few. The tactics used by attackers continues to evolve. Infringers often switch between channels and capitalize on your blind spot, so monitoring and enforcing across all digital channels is essential. Cyber squatting is the deceptive registration of branded and misspelled branded domains. A slight misspelling of a legitimate domain can lead your customer to an illegitimate site or be used to spoof an email. This is an old concept in the domain world, but continues to be a threat, especially with so many new GTLDs available. Domain and DNS administrators can be tricked by sophisticated phishing scams that appear to be completely legitimate. Phishing is an attempt to deceive you into thinking a legitimate organization is requesting information from you. These requests for information may look innocent at first glance and appear to come from a legitimate source, but they do not. Phishing emails often attempt to use emotional triggers to get you to react quickly without thinking through whether you should respond, such as a dire language about time limits, loss of service, or penalties for not acting quickly. Targeted phishing attacks can result in unlocked and hijacked domains, updated name servers, or even changed DNS setting that effectively takes sites down and infect unsuspecting website visitors with malware. Many of these examples are essentially false association, that is, domains being used nefariously to gather information, scam your customers, or just to cause an organization financial damage. False association and impersonation includes registered domains to gather personal contact information from financial fraud, employment scams, and malware. As the rate of online shopping increases, unfortunately, so do lookalike domains targeting unsuspecting shoppers. Cyber attackers create false domains by substituting a few characters in the URL, so using an L instead of an I, or using a 0 to represent an O. Impersonation on social media is also a growing problem, so it's important to include social media in your brand protection strategies. Scammers use homographs to take advantage of the fact that some non-Latin characters look similar or identical to the familiar Latin character. Homograph attacks are a phishing technique used to imitate brands through the use of internationalized domain names. An example of this would be substituting a Cyrillic character A that looks like the Latin A. To the human eye, they look the same when viewed quickly, but they are coded differently within the domain name system, allowing someone to register a domain that looks to be one thing but is really another. This is similar in concept to typo squatting, where a slight misspelling of a legitimate domain can lead your visitors to illegitimate sites. A new trend is the blockchain-connected domains. These are domains based on blockchain technology, and they are associated with the rise of cryptocurrencies. While they are not true domains, as in they don't use ICANN-coordinated DNS and do not resolve to content in the way of normal web domains, they allow for online activities such as enabling cryptocurrency holders to connect to their wallets. Recently, they have increased in importance as online players discover new uses for them, often as new top-level domains within the new GTLD space. .lux is a new GTLD that entered the general availability phase of its launch on November 6th, actually, so recently. And it's related to the Ethereum blockchain and was created to combine Ethereum blockchain innovation and security with ease for use for today's world. Its domains can be used in the traditional way, meaning with websites, email, or as a .eth cryptocurrency wallet or decentralized app address. As part of the .lux limited registration period that ended on October 25th, existing .eth owners who had secured their .eth domain by or before September 21st, 2018 were eligible to register a .lux domain name. Similar to .lux.xyz, a TLD that launched back in 2014, recently announced its inclusion into the Ethereum name service main network, meaning that you can now secure your .xyz name in the ENS and pair it with your Ethereum wallet. This represents yet another new domain space for brand owners to have to monitor. So lots going on there. So let's move on to SSL certificates. The industry has moved towards encryption everywhere. Many people do not understand that HTTP is inherently unsecure. When you connect over HTTP, which is an unencrypted and unauthenticated protocol, any server could be providing you with a response, and it may not be the one you want to talk to. New changes in Internet standards and web browsers are giving websites that use HTTPS a leg up and are actively distrusting unsecure sites that remain on HTTP. Mid-October witnessed the release of Firefox 63 and Chrome 70, and as a result, users who visit websites with missing or outdated SSL certificates are now greeted with security warnings. Your website's SSL certificate provides cryptographically verifiable proof that your identity, verified with industry standard methods and then digitally signed by a certificate authority, such as DigiCert. This provides authentication, which makes it impossible for other servers to impersonate or spoof you. The SSL TLS protocol provides the encryption, so no one else but the computer server at the other end of the connection can read the data being transmitted. SSL certificates are being widely used in the new GTLD and .brand space. For new GTLDs, they are used to secure end-to-end user experience, used to increase SEO value, and used to maintain browser compliance. If you own and operate your own TLD, consider a policy to secure all domains under your TLD. It creates a secure user experience, future-proofs your TLD for industry trends, increases your SEO value, and allows you to better protect your investment. The modern web is an essential part of daily lives of billions of people, so it is no surprise that both these security properties, encryption and authentication, are important for everything from a simple Google search to checking your email and online banking and e-commerce. The bottom line is offering visible signs of trust can make an impact on how willing your customers are to share information and buy from you, making a big impact on your company's overall growth potential. All right, so that was a lot of setting the stage. And so now that we've gone through what's happening in the industry, let's talk about how MarkMonitor Domain Management enables you to minimize the very real, very substantial risk associated with maintaining a global web presence and ensure that your enterprise reaps the greatest benefits possible from its online properties. We're going to walk you through MarkMonitor's integrated technology that you can use to gain valuable insights into your domain management effectiveness. So with that, Laurel, I would like to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Alison. MarkMonitor has continually worked to update our domain management portal with new features and functionality that help you manage complex corporate domain portfolios. So to begin with, MarkMonitor offers several tools to aid in the domain search process. Many companies have worldwide operations and require global registrations to promote and protect their brands. Using a corporate registrar like MarkMonitor that offers legacy and new GTLD, generic top-level domain registrations, and CCTLD, country code top-level domain registrations, allows you to promote and protect brands globally across all available top-level domains. But how do you know where to register and what's available? MarkMonitor's Registration Advisor is an extensive search tool that allows users to create customized registration recommendations based on unique attributes such as TLD type, the ranking, restrictions, region, country, and pricing, just to name a few. Users can conduct a search on a brand string, and the tool quickly searches domain availability across 600 top-level domains. Results include domains that are available for registration, those that are taken, and those that are already managed within your MarkMonitor account. Available domains can easily be moved to the cart for purchase. Searches are safe and reliable, offering a one-stop shop for searching and registering. We often see clients use this tool when launching a new brand to check worldwide availability before deciding on a new brand name. The Registration Advisor is also used to identify gaps in a client's portfolio by searching for an existing brand across several hundred different TLD extensions. In addition to this integrated technology, MarkMonitor's client services support team can conduct exhaustive searches using proprietary tools across multiple data sources to uncover global domains for consolidation. Using MarkMonitor search tools allows companies to simplify the domain search and registration process, make intelligent registration decisions to build and enhance global domain portfolios, and to understand current domain coverage and where possible gaps exist. All of this data arms companies with the information needed to align domain coverage with their online business objectives. So, as you identify domains that need to be secured and you continue to add to your domain portfolio, it then becomes increasingly more important to analyze your current assets to assess the value of domains that you have under management. MarkMonitor offers automated domain scoring directly within the portal with just the click of a button. Our industry-pioneering proprietary scoring algorithm allocates a score to each domain under management, which is designed to provide an indication of the domain's value. So then domains are ranked from 0 to 1,000. Domain managers can use this information to identify areas for cost savings by reviewing low-value domains for possible deletion, and the data can be used to optimize the portfolio by actively hosting lower-value domains and tracking traffic to see if there's a benefit in keeping them. The scoring also brings attention to your most highly valuable domains that you can then consider for advanced locking for maximum protection. To go beyond the one-click scoring that's available within a domain manager, more advanced scoring is available with a custom report that takes into consideration the unique attributes of your company, such as where you are headquartered or where you focus your marketing efforts. In our experience providing these reports to clients, the benefits of the custom reporting are increased the more we're able to collaborate together with clients to gather business data to use in the report. Another factor to consider when looking at your domain strategy is how your domains are being used. One of our top best practice recommendations is that every domain should have a purpose. By knowing whether domains point to live sites and reviewing the content, you can ensure that users are seeing content that is relevant to them, and you can recapture lost traffic by activating non-resolving domains, and thereby maximizing the value of your domain holdings. Within the MarkMonitor portal, you can choose to view website thumbnail images for each domain under management. This provides a quick review of the content of live sites, as well as displaying which domains are non-resolving. For domains that you have hosted on MarkMonitor servers, the portal provides DNS statistics to track the traffic for each domain name. Our clients often use this no-fee service to activate non-resolving sites, then they track the traffic to get a better idea of the value of the domain. MarkMonitor offers a way to gain even more detailed insight with a full website resolution report. This report will not only show which domains point to live sites, it will also categorize the content to provide even further detail about how each domain is being used. Categories include whether a domain forwards to another URL, whether the content is client-hosted, or whether domains point to a park page. Your Client Services Manager or Client Partnership Manager can provide more information about this report. In addition to the information that's available in the portal, MarkMonitor can provide a number of custom reports to provide more advanced insight into your domain landscape. Our Domain Portfolio Advisory Services leverages proprietary domain scoring that I just mentioned and unique client requirements to help right-size domain portfolios. The perceived value of each domain is assessed, identifying possible low-value candidates for registration lapse, and identifying key domain names for recovery and/or registration. And then it optimizes these recommendations in light of your specific risk tolerance. The key benefits include the ability for you to intelligently reduce costs by identifying lower-risk domains for possible deletion, as well as the ability for you to optimize portfolio value by registering and/or recovering high-value domains. This can lead to maximizing efficiency while minimizing the resource strains, while minimizing the resource strains that are associated with unnecessarily large portfolios. Our new gTLD advisory report thoroughly examines all company brands, trademarks, and the new gTLD landscape to help companies arm themselves with a strategic understanding of the impact of new gTLDs on a corporate domain portfolio. This enables domain managers to confidently and proactively protect valuable brands and trademarks as the industry evolves and as so many new extensions become available. With this report, you can understand the unique impact of new GTLDs on your business, brand, and domain portfolio. And you can leverage a plan to proactively protect brands and trademarks in specific business-related GTLDs. You can use this data to establish a customized registration strategy that reflects your brands and markets. Here at MarkMonitor, we've introduced a Client Partnership Manager role to the Client Services team to assist with facilitating these types of reports. The CPM works alongside the CSM to offer additional support that goes beyond the everyday management of your domain portfolio. The goal is to expand your support team and bring more focus to the advisory role that MarkMonitor can offer. The account CPM can help create these types of custom reports tailored to your specific business needs to better align your domain portfolio with your organizational goals. Another feature that was recently implemented into the MarkMonitor Domain Manager is an SSL Certificate Wizard. This tool walks users through a series of questions about website usage and matches the best cert for the website need. This allows users to compare and contrast certificate options to leverage multiple choices from leading certificate authorities. So we just reviewed the features and functionalities that are integrated into the MarkMonitor portal that can help you gain more detailed insight into your domain portfolio. Outside of these integrated features, we offer some alternative, secure ways to access your account to help you streamline your processes. Our MarkMonitor Domain mobile app allows users to complete common domain functions on the go, such as domain registrations, domain searches, who is searches, and process approvals. The app is available through the App Store or Google Play. REST API and single sign-on give companies safe and secure options for managing portfolios behind their firewall. API allows you to build your own internal interface for domain registrations, transfers, and registration data retrieval. MarkMonitor is happy to work with you to implement any of these options on your account. Now that we have reviewed the technology available to gain visibility into your entire domain landscape, we will talk about tips for developing effective domain management strategies. So I will pass it back to Alison.
Thank you, Laurel. All right, well, we're going to jump right in. Oh, whoops, actually I went, shoot. Okay. The first step is to assess your current situation. Do you have defined strategies in place? Have they changed to address industry changes and challenges, such as the ones we discussed earlier? Who within your organization is involved in domain management? Key stakeholders should include legal, marketing, e-commerce, compliance, the security team, just to name a few. Do you have a good understanding of where your company does business? Are you incorporating those country TLDs into your strategies? Have you tracked annual domain spend? Are you spending more on domain recovery than you should be? Do you need to look at more defensive registrations to reduce recovery spend? It's important to address all these questions and make adjustments where needed. The second step is to have clear visibility into your entire domain and SSL certificate portfolio. Having domains at different registrars makes managing domains more difficult, as you'll have to track different expiration dates, services, pricing, user IDs, and passwords. This is where domain consolidation comes into play. Centralizing the management of your domains and your SSL certificates reduces risks and keeps your domain portfolio in line with corporate strategies. Using the tools we showed earlier to uncover lost or forgotten domain names can help ensure a full consolidation. To support your domain consolidation efforts, you can create policies to centralize domain requests within your organization. You can then deploy the policy across the organization, making sure to identify and contact individuals within all the different departments who may have the need to register a domain. Even though WHOIS is currently a fragmented patchwork of different forms, standardized WHOIS information should still be used whenever possible to allow for uniformity throughout a domain portfolio. Even though the information may not be published on public WHOIS, you are still responsible to maintain registrant and WHOIS contact information for your domains. Only legitimate information should appear on WHOIS records. The registrant should be the same as the business registration or trademark owner. The domain contact listed on the WHOIS for the registrant, admin, tech, or billing contact should be generic whenever possible, such as domain admin or DNS administrator. When an actual person's name is needed on WHOIS, that person should be the administrative contact whenever possible. The email address for all contacts should also be generic, such as domains@companyname.com, and have the ability to send and receive email. The same applies to phone and fax numbers. It's best to use the company's main contact numbers. When local presence information is needed to secure a domain, the same local presence information should be used whenever possible. If registering a domain name requires the administrative contact actually live in that particular country that matches the domain extension, the person chosen should be a director of the company or employee who has full signing authority. Managing a global domain portfolio really should be a group effort. While you may have one single point of contact in charge of domain management, it's important to have a team involved so you rule out the possibility of a single point of failure. So we talked earlier about TLD growth and all the threats brand owners have to deal with. It's important to revisit defensive strategies regularly. One reason for this is that countries are continuously changing their rules and requirements. Unfortunately, the popularity of CCTLDs has led to predatory practices and abusive and bad faith registrations of protected names. Because each CCTLD administrator sets its own policy for selling, operating, and managing internet addresses within its proprietary domain, trademark owners often have a difficult time enforcing their rights. A fundamental step is registering domains that align with your business strategy. When creating defensive strategies, look for opportunities across all TLDs to create a web presence in countries where CCTLDs dominate, to support worldwide sales and marketing efforts, to generate e-commerce revenue worldwide, to protect key brands and trademarks worldwide, and don't forget to anticipate future marketing needs. Register in local languages or internationalize domain names to support global promotion and portray understanding of culture and nationalistic pride. While new GTLDs have gotten a bad rap, they do offer creative opportunities for memorable campaigns and launches. It's also important to protect yourself in the most targeted TLDs. If you don't, you could jeopardize your brand protection program and put your business reputation on the line. Leverage real-world cybersquatting data to proactively defend your brand across TLDs where traffic and revenue would otherwise be lost. Businesses should protect all variation of their domains that could potentially be used to trick consumers and their own employees. If they're registered, attackers can't use them. Consider internationalized domain names. Know how your brand translates in different countries so you can defensively protect those brands. Consider blocking to help with defensive strategies. Blocking allows brand owners with Trademark Clearinghouse validated marks a way to protect their brands from abuse, as blocked terms are ineligible for registration by non-rights holders. And there are a few blocking providers out there in the new GTLD space. There is also T-Rex. So there are some blocking options out there for you. Consider including trending keywords or buzzwords in defensive strategies. Emojis are not for every business, but they do offer creative usage. An emoji domain is a domain name with an emoji in it. For an emoji domain to work, though, it must be converted into so-called Punycode. There are several generators on the internet that allow one to convert emoji to Punycode and back, but availability of emoji domains is limited, as there are only a handful of TLDs that support emoji domains. Also consider defensive registrations to address popular holidays and online shopping events. With the holidays right around the corner, you'll want to make sure your customers find you, not imposters. And lastly, consider social media with your domain strategies. Given the fact that more than a third of respondents in a 2018 MarkMonitor survey reported negative impacts from social media infringement, it's now apparent that including this channel in brand protection strategies is essential. Once you have all your assets in one secure location, make sure that every domain serves a purpose, as Laurel stated earlier. It's a good idea to redirect all domains to live content and track your online traffic to analyze where it's coming from. Is it driven by organic search, website redirects, marketing promotions? Having the answers to these questions provides insight for optimizing your domain management strategies, and it gives you the information needed to help your internal business stakeholders assess the return on investment of specific domains. Once reserved solely for online commerce sites, SSL certificates are now considered essential for inspiring trust in virtually any website. Communicate to users of your site that you care about protecting their online interactions with your business.
Once you've taken the steps to create a domain strategy and maximize your online presence, then the next step is protecting your online assets. If you haven't already, consider implementing these security best practices. By having these types of proactive security measures in place, you can reduce vulnerabilities and increase protection against unauthorized changes to your domains. Some of the most effective security measures are protecting domains with advanced locking, keeping login credentials safe with two-factor authentication, IP access restrictions, and regular password updates, and keeping track of domain modifications with automated email notifications for every change that's made. Utilizing a corporate-only hardened registrar like MarkMonitor also adds a level of assurance as we have policies and procedures in place that are focused on keeping your account secure. For example, MarkMonitor requires that all accounts utilize two-factor authentication for added security. Another thing companies should consider is implementing domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance, otherwise known as DMARC records, an open email authentication standard that prevents domain names from being spoofed in phishing or spam emails. Also, as Ali mentioned, the holidays are coming up, and this is a good time of year, while business might be slower, to take the time to review some housekeeping tasks related to domain management. Regularly reviewing users that have logins into your domain portal is critical to ensure that you remove access for users that may no longer be with your company, or they may not be in a domain role any longer. And this also ensures that the right individuals have access to the information that they need. You should review domains on a regular basis to ensure that they are set to auto-renewal by default, and that domains that are set to do not renew are appropriate to expire and drop. MarkMonitor can help by providing renewal forecasts to assist with budgetary planning, and we can provide several other types of complementary reports to analyze your portfolio in different ways, such as the content resolution report, domain scoring, and portfolio optimization reports mentioned earlier in the presentation. MarkMonitor Client Services Managers also schedule an annual portfolio review with each account to discuss the state of the account and review these types of updates. Not only do we have the technology covered earlier integrated into our systems, we also provide an entire support team that can help you make sense of all the data that is available. Each account is assigned a dedicated, skilled, and knowledgeable client services manager that not only helps with the daily management of your domain portfolio, but also understands your business, provides strategic advice, delivers customized reports, and offers proactive guidance on an ongoing basis. Our client services team goes through continuous ongoing training to maintain the highest level of service and stay apprised on industry trends. We offer global support with local offices in key regions, including China, Japan, the United States, and Europe, and we have established partners and relationships throughout the industry to streamline and expedite the domain management process for our clients.
Our experience and involvement with the industry, our affiliations, relationships, and knowledge is leveraged in our online training program, Learning at MarkMonitor. The courses are developed to ensure that you are informed and highly educated on the latest industry changes, trends, and strategies. We also have a broad suite of educational offerings, including webinars, brown bags, trainings, monthly newsletters, industry reports, user group meetings, and annual user forums, all designed to educate and share industry best practices. Learning at MarkMonitor is available to all MarkMonitor clients, so if you're interested, you can request access by either visiting our website, or you can contact your client services manager, and they'll be happy to get you set up. So as the web has emerged as a key enabler of global commerce, domains have become extremely valuable brand assets for enterprises of all sizes across the industry spectrum. Protecting those assets should be a high priority for any organization. Here are some final tips that we'd like to leave you with. First, partner with a registrar that allows you to manage all domain assets in one secure management system. So your domains, your DNS, your SSL certificates, new GTLDs, your DNS. Use MarkMonitor technology to optimize domain portfolios. Get into the portal, start using some of the features and functionality, all those tools we have available, and if you're unsure how to use them, contact your client services manager. They're always happy to walk you through the portal, doing any kind of demos for you and your team. Review current strategies to ensure they're aligned with business objectives. Hopefully you learned something new today, something that you can go back and think a little bit about and see if that, if anything changes in your strategies. And then also, lastly, combine domain management strategies with a brand protection solution that allows you to quickly identify abuse and take appropriate action when necessary. Because we know that it can feel like you're playing whack-a-mole, fraudsters find new ways to take advantage of your brand, and we know you can't take down everything, so you have to be really smart at, what you do plan to, take down. So make sure you have that domain management with your brand protection solution. It's just a sound strategy. All right, so with that, we would like to open it up to any questions that we received.
Okay, thank you, Allison and Laurel, for a great presentation. As promised, we'll take the next 10 minutes or so to answer your questions. If you do have a question for our presenters, please type them in the Q&A or chat features, which are available in the bottom of the WebEx platform. Also, be reminded, if we do not get to your question during today's Q&A session, we'll be sure to follow up with you afterward. And our first question is the MarkMonitor portal available to all MarkMonitor clients?
Is it the MarkMonitor portal? Well, we have different sections within the MarkMonitor portal. We have a domain management section, brand protection. So depending on what services you get from MarkMonitor, that tab will be turned on for you. So yes, all domain management clients should have access to everything that we showed you today. I'm not sure if that answers the question correctly.
Okay. Very good. You talked a little bit about registry lock. Does every TLD offer registry lock?
That is an excellent question. No, they do not offer registry lock. And MarkMonitor we work closely with a lot of registries to help them implement registry lock. We really believe in it, and we think it's sorry about that, a small insurance to pay to prevent something bad from happening. So we work with a lot of different registries. Right now we offer across 40 TLDs, and again, we're always trying to add more TLDs to that offering.
Okay. Do you know when future rounds of the new GTLD program will start?
Oh, yes. We actually didn't touch too much on new GTLDs other than the slight decrease that they had. No, so right now there has been no date announced. I think some people are thinking 2020, 2021, 2022. I don't think it'll happen before 2020 though. And we will, of course, be sure to keep all our clients informed because we do know we have a lot that are interested in future rounds.
Okay, very good. Are there any fees associated with setting up API or SSO?
No, I'll take that one. That one's easy. The answer is no, there's no fees.
Nice.
We can work with you. We do have to work together to collaborate to get that set up for you, but there's no fees associated with it.
That is good to hear. When a country offers two TLDs like .co.uk and .uk, which one should we register?
That is a good question, and that can be something that when you're looking through the registration advisor, you see, a few different extensions for the same country, and that can be confusing. So we mark in our system, one of the ways that we categorize TLDs is by marking the ones that are the commercial standard, and those are the ones that are used the most in that country for commercial use. So the first thing you can do is check and see which TLDs are marked as commercial standards. And sometimes countries do have two commercial standards. Colombia, for example, has .co as well as .com.co. And in that circumstance, we do recommend that you register both. You can also ask your local entity if they have a preference. You know, if you have a local office in that country, they might have a preference because they're in that, you know, in that region using those extensions all the time. Some companies try to be consistent by only registering maybe all second level or all top level. So, you know, if you have a strategy where you prefer one or the other, that can work, except, you know, you're going to miss out on some TLDs. Like Brazil, for example, only offers .com.br, so you don't want to miss out on that high-ranking TLD just because they don't offer the top-level .br TLD.
Okay. Next question. Can you revisit what was said in the presentation about .xyz-gtld? Some of our attendees would like to have that revisited.
Oh, yeah, sure. So I was talking about blockchain connected domains, and I had started out with the .lux example, and then I ended with that .xyz announced that its inclusion into the Ethereum name service main network, meaning you can now secure your XYZ name and the ENS, the Ethereum name service, and pair it with your Ethereum wallet.
Okay, great. Are there any extra costs for the earlier mentioned custom reports?
There are almost all those reports, or all the reports that I mentioned do not have a cost associated with them. If there are, you know, custom reports that we need to build that might have a fee associated with them, you know, I guess there might be some if it's a more complicated report, but no, the ones that we mentioned do not have any fees associated with them.
Always good to hear. If you have any questions, if you have any questions for Alison or Laurel, please put them in the chat or the Q&A. And our next question is, did the app MarkMonitor serve only for WHOIS, or can you change it to DNS, etc.? Hope that makes sense to you guys.
With the app, you can search WHOIS, like search domain availability. You can register domains. You can look at your domains, but changing DNS is not a functionality that's available within the app.
Yeah, and then one other thing though, if someone is, we have secondary user access in the MarkMonitor portal, and you can set up secondary users where they can request a DNS update, but somebody else has to approve it before it goes through. Now, if a approver gets a notice that there is a pending DNS update, they can log into the app to approve that request, and then it will get pushed out, but you can't log into the app and make any changes to your WHOIS record, and that was purposely built that way for security reasons.
Okay, very good. And we have another question coming in. Where is the portal? Do we see a CCTLD flagged as commercial standard? So I guess in the portal, do we see that?
Yes, so we have a whole section of the portal called TLD requirements that shows you the specific requirements for each TLD. It shows you the restrictions. It shows you all the different information about each TLD, so it is listed there, as well as when you go into the registration advisor and do a search, it will show you if a TLD is commercial standard. That's one of the options.
Okay, very good. And that'll wrap up our Q&A session for today. Alison and Laurel, did you have any parting comments, closing comments?
So I would really like to thank everyone for joining us today. If there was a particular topic, the blockchain maybe people want more information on, if there's something that you want more information on, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Please feel free to reach out to your client services manager. They can get in contact with me. But no, we just really want to thank you all for being here, and hope that you at least learned a good little nugget, a good takeaway for today.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Alison and Laurel. Great presentation as always. Very enjoyable. And thank you to all of our attendees for attending Developing Effective Domain Management Strategies. Please take a few minutes to complete our brief survey. It'll automatically appear as you exit the webinar. And we'd really love to hear your feedback on what you'd like to see in potential future webinar topics. So definitely check out the survey and share your feedback with us. And with that, have a great day, and this will end our presentation. Goodbye.